Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring something that I'm really passionate about reading. You shared a fantastic piece with us, Read to Succeed. Top stories and novels to enhance your English skills. And I'm really excited to kind of dig into it with you today.
Sounds great.
So we'll be looking at how reading can actually benefit your English skills
Mhm.
and unearthing some hidden literary gems along the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget that something as enjoyable as reading can be such a powerful tool for language acquisition.
Yeah.
It's not just about passively consuming words. It's an active process that really shapes how you think and how you communicate.
So the article dives into those benefits, right?
Yeah.
It starts with vocabulary expansion, but it goes beyond just learning new words, right?
Oh, absolutely. Reading in context allows you to grasp the nuances of a word's meaning
Mm-hmm.
and how it's used in different situations.
Right.
For example, you might learn the word melancholy from a dictionary definition.
Right.
But reading a novel like The Great Gatsby allows you to experience its emotional weight,
Right.
its connection to themes of loss and disillusionment.
That makes so much sense. It's like the difference between seeing a picture of a place and actually traveling there.
Yeah,
You get a much richer understanding through immersion.
exactly. And then there's the impact on comprehension.
Yeah.
Navigating those complex sentence structures, deciphering unfamiliar grammatical constructions is
Yeah.
like a mental workout for your brain,
Yeah.
strengthening your ability to understand and interpret written English.
I love that analogy. It's like hitting the gym for your reading muscles.
Right.
Speaking of working out different parts, the article also highlights how reading can offer cultural insights. What
Yeah.
did you make of that?
Well, it's fascinating how a well-chosen book can transport you
Mm-hmm.
to another time and place,
Mm-hmm.
immersing you in different social customs, values, ways of thinking.
Right.
Take Pride and Prejudice, for instance. It's not just a romantic comedy. It's a window into the social hierarchies and courtship rituals of 19th century England.
Oh, that's brilliant. You're not just learning new words.
Right.
You're gaining a deeper understanding of how those words reflect a particular culture and time period.
Exactly.
Okay, let's dive into some of the specific books recommended in the article. It kicks off with The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon.
Yes.
I remember finding the narrative style so captivating.
The story is told from the perspective of Christopher, a teenager with autism.
Mm.
And what's remarkable is how Haddon uses Christopher's unique voice
Yeah.
and his way of seeing the world to create this compelling and accessible narrative,
Right.
even for English learners.
You know what struck me about that book was the clarity of the language.
Hmm.
It deals with these, complex emotions and themes, but in a way that feels very straightforward.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The simple sentence structure and vocabulary allow the reader to focus on the emotional core of the story
Yeah.
without getting bogged down by those linguistic complexities.
And then for those who are just starting their English learning adventure, the article suggests the timeless charm of Roald Dahl's fantastic Mr. Fox.
Ah, Dahl. He is a master of creating worlds that appeal to both children and adults.
Yeah.
Playful language, whimsical characters, and those iconic Quentin Blake illustrations
Yes.
make his books such a delight to read.
I remember reading Fantastic Mr. Fox aloud to my niece, and even I was giggling at the wordplay and the sheer absurdity of it all.
Yeah.
It's a perfect example of how learning English can be fun.
Absolutely.
Ah.
And the illustrations provide these visual cues that help reinforce the meaning of the words, making it an engaging experience for visual learners.
Moving on, we have Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea.
Yes.
I remember being blown away by the power of his minimalist style.
Hemingway is a master of economy.
Yeah?
His prose is stripped down to its essence, every word carefully chosen for maximum impact.
Right.
Take, for example, the scene where Santiago, the old fisherman, is struggling to reel in the giant marlin Hemingway. Doesn't use flowery language or elaborate descriptions.
Right.
He simply states, "He is too strong for me now."
Wow, you're right. That simplicity conveys the sheer exhaustion and the almost mythical nature of the struggle.
It's a lesson in the power of concise writing. Hemingway shows us that you don't need a vast vocabulary to convey profound emotions and experiences.
Okay, I'm already feeling inspired to revisit Hemingway. The next book on the list is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. What stands out to you about this American classic?
It's a coming-of-age story set against the backdrop of racial prejudice in the American South. And Lee's brilliance lies in her ability to tackle these complex themes through the innocent eyes of a young girl named Scout.
Right.
What's particularly valuable for English learners is how the dialogue reflects the various dialects and social classes of the time,
Right.
giving you a sense of the diversity of spoken English.
You make a great point about the dialogue. It's like getting a crash course in Southern American vernacular and how language can reflect social dynamics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's incredible how Lee manages to weave those linguistic nuances into a story that's both heartwarming and thought-provoking.
Switching gears a bit, let's talk about a series that's captured the imaginations of readers worldwide, Harry Potter.
Yes.
It's often seen as a children's series, but I think it offers so much for learners of all levels.
Well, you're absolutely right. J.K. Rowling's world building is phenomenal, and her characters are so richly developed.
Yeah.
But what's particularly interesting from a language learning perspective is how the language evolves throughout the series.
Okay.
The first book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, starts with simple sentence structures and vocabulary that's accessible to younger readers.
Right.
As the series progresses, the language becomes more complex, mirroring the character's growth and the increasingly intricate plot lines.
That's a great point. It's like leveling up your language skills alongside the characters as they face greater challenges and delve deeper into the magical world.
Exactly. It's a natural progression that keeps readers engaged while subtly expanding their vocabulary and understanding of grammar. Now, if you're ready to step back in time and immerse yourself in the elegance of 19th century England, Pride and Prejudice is a must-read.
I have to admit, Austen's language can be a bit daunting at first,
Mhm.
but there's something so rewarding about deciphering her witty dialogue and intricate social commentary.
One of the things that makes Austen so brilliant is her use of irony and satire.
Yeah.
For example, when Mr. Darcy first proposes to Elizabeth, he does so in a manner that's incredibly proud and condescending.
Okay.
Austen writes, his sense of her inferiority of its being a degradation of the family obstacles which judgment had always opposed to inclination were dwelt on with a warmth which seemed due to himself more than to his listener.
That's so true. You can almost hear the disdain in his voice. And Elizabeth's sharp wit is equally brilliant as she rebuffs his advances.
Exactly. Austen's language is full of these subtle layers of meaning, and it's a joy to unravel them. Now let's jump ahead to the roaring 20s and the dazzling world of the Great Gatsby.
Fitzgerald's prose is just so evocative. It's like stepping into a time capsule filled with jazz music, champagne, and the glittering illusions of the American dream.
Fitzgerald is a master of creating atmosphere through language.
Mm-hmm.
His descriptions are so rich in sensory detail that you can practically taste the gin cocktails and feel the summer heat shimmering off the Long Island Sound.
I love how he uses metaphors and similes to paint these vivid pictures. It's like he's weaving a tapestry of words and images that transport you straight into the heart of the story.
Speaking of powerful imagery, let's shift gears completely and explore William Golding's Lord of the Flies. This dystopian novel takes us to a deserted island where a group of British schoolboys, stranded after a plane crash, descend into savagery.
It's a chilling exploration of human nature, and the language is surprisingly straightforward, which makes it a great choice for English learners who want to delve into deeper themes.
What's fascinating about Lord of the Flies is how Golding uses symbolism to convey his message.
Okay.
The island itself becomes a microcosm of society, and the boys' descent into violence reflects the dark potential that exists within us all.
It's a book that definitely stays with you long after you finish reading it. Now, for something a little less intense but equally thought-provoking, there's The Giver by Lois Lowry.
This dystopian novel explores a seemingly utopian society where emotions are suppressed and individuality is sacrificed for the sake of conformity. What makes it so accessible for English learners is Lowry's use of clear, concise language to convey these complex themes.
I remember being struck by how she uses simple words to create a world that's both unsettling and strangely alluring.
Exactly. It's a testament to the power of simplicity in storytelling. You don't need elaborate language to create a world that's both believable and thought-provoking.
And lastly, we have Animal Farm by George Orwell. It's a satirical novella that uses talking animals to critique totalitarianism and explore the dangers of unchecked power.
Orwell is a master of allegory.
Mm.
By using animals to represent human characters and social structures,
Right.
he's able to make complex political ideas accessible to a wider audience. Plus, his writing style is incredibly clear and engaging,
Yeah.
making it a great choice for those who want to expand their vocabulary related to politics and social issues.
You know, one of the things I appreciate about the article is that it doesn't just throw out these book recommendations, it also offers some great advice on choosing the right books for you.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
Starting with a book that's too difficult can be discouraging.
Right.
Think about if you were learning to play the piano, you wouldn't start with Rachmaninoff.
Yeah.
You'd begin with simpler pieces and gradually work your way up to more challenging compositions.
Mm.
It's the same with reading.
That's such a helpful analogy. I think sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves to read classic literature right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
But it's okay to start with something lighter and more enjoyable, just
Right.
to get into the habit of reading and build your confidence.
Exactly. And the article also encourages readers to explore different genres. You might be surprised at what you discover.
Yeah.
Perhaps you've always considered yourself a fan of science fiction, but you might find yourself falling in love with historical fiction or even poetry.
And don't forget the power of active reading. You know, taking notes, highlighting passages, even just jotting down your thoughts and questions as you go.
Active reading transforms the experience from passive consumption to active engagement.
Hmm.
It's like having a conversation with the author,
Right.
questioning their ideas and making connections to your own experiences.
The article also mentions audiobooks as a great way to supplement your reading.
Yeah,
Have you found them helpful for language learning?
absolutely. Audiobooks can be a fantastic tool,
Yeah.
especially for auditory learners or those who want to improve their listening comprehension. It's
Right.
like having a personal tutor guiding you through the pronunciation and nuances of the language.
And let's not forget the sheer joy of reading aloud. It can feel a bit silly at first,
Right.
but it's a great way to practice your pronunciation and fluency.
Reading aloud engages different parts of your brain,
Hmm.
helping you internalize the rhythm and flow of the language.
It's like giving your voice a workout, getting those pronunciation muscles flexed. And it can be surprisingly fun to try out different accents and experiment with the way you deliver the lines.
I agree. It can even help you understand the emotional nuances of the text more deeply.
Right.
But you know, what really stood out to me from this whole discussion is how each of these books, despite their differences in genre and style,
Yeah.
offers this unique opportunity to deepen your connection with the English language.
You're right. Whether it's the simplicity of Hemingway's prose, the social commentary woven into Austen's witty dialogue, or the imaginative world building of J.K. Rowling, each author presents a different facet of the language waiting to be explored.
And beyond just language acquisition,
Right.
these books offer a chance to broaden your horizons,
Mm.
to step into different worlds and experience life through the eyes of others. That, to me, is a true magic of reading.
It's like opening a door to 1,000 different lives, 1,000 different perspectives. And who knows, you might even discover something about yourself along the way.
Exactly. Maybe a character's struggles resonate with your own, or a particular theme sparks a new way of thinking about the world.
So to all our listeners out there, no matter what your level of English is, remember this. There's a whole world of literary adventures waiting for you. Pick up a book that intrigues you, dive into its pages, and let the journey begin.
And don't be afraid to challenge yourself, to step outside your comfort zone, and to explore genres you might not normally gravitate towards. You never know what hidden gems you might uncover.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought. Think back to the books that have had the most profound impact on you, the ones that have stayed with you long after you closed the last page. What was it about their language, their stories, or their characters that resonated so deeply? Maybe, just maybe, those books could inspire someone else on their language learning journey. Keep exploring, keep reading, and keep discovering the power of words.